Hi everybody, a very good morning. Now let us continue the lesson. That is our second prose. The night the ghost got in. Okay. So what we have seen in the previous class. So we have seen that the police came and they were ransacking the entire house. A police, a cop. That is cop means police named. Joe is taking a zidar which was won by the narrator's brother in a swimming pool tournament. Okay, and he's telling that his guinea pig used to sleep on the zidar. Zidar means it is a musical instrument. Okay, so we have seen till that. Now let us continue. No sign of nothing, said the cop who had first spoken to mother. The lady seems hysterical. They all nodded but said nothing, just looked at me. Okay, so no sign of nothing. It means no sign of anything, said the cop who had first spoken to mother. So a police is speaking to mother for the first time after they are entering the house. So what he is telling to mother is no sign of anything. So there is no sign of anybody inside the house or anything like ghost inside the house. The lady seems hysterical. Hysterical. What does mean by hysterical? A person who is affected emotionally. Okay, emotionally affected person is called as a hysterical person. So the lady seems hysterical. So the lady is, that is the narrator's mother, is emotionally affected because they are hearing some sound, and his sons are saying that they are hearing a walk around the dining table. Okay, so she might be in fear. They all nodded but said nothing. So nodded means shaking the head. So they are shaking the head in negative, but said nothing, just looked at me. Okay, so they are just looking at the narrator because the police could not find anything inside the house. So they are simply nodding their head. In the small silence, we all heard a creaking in the attic. Okay, in the small silence. So what happened? The police came, they ransacked the house, but they found nothing, and at last they are reporting to narrator's mother that you may be emotionally affected, but there is no symbol of anybody or anything present inside the house. Okay, so all the police are saying the same. They are nodding the head in acceptance. They are telling the same, and for a minute there is some silence. Okay, so in that silence, so the mari silent what they are hearing is, we all heard a creaking in the attic. Okay, they are hearing a creaking sound in the attic. Already I have told you what is the meaning of creaking, right? So grandfather was turning over in bed. So what is that creaking sound is? So where is grandfather? Grandfather is in the attic. So that sound was made because grandfather is in his bed in the attic, and when he was turning in his bed, that sound is heard from the attic. So what's that? Snapped Joe. So who is Joe? He is a police officer. What he is asking? So he is the person who had found that zidar. Okay. So what's that? Snapped Joe. So that police is asking, what is that sound? So 5 or 6 cops sprang for the attic door before I could intervene or explain. So what happened immediately? So immediately after hearing the sound, what police are doing? Immediately they are going to the attic. Before I could intervene, so before the narrator could intervene or explain, before he could stop them or before he could explain them that sound is nothing and the sound வேற எதுவும் கிடையாது, it is my grandfather is sleeping in the bed in the attic, அவர் திரும்பி படுக்கும்போது அந்த சவுண்டு தான் அது அப்படின்னு நரேட்டர் போலீஸ்க்கு எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி they are climbing to the attic. I realized that it would be bad if they burst in on grandfather unannounced or even announced. Okay, so I realized, who realized? The narrator realized that it would be bad if they burst in on grandfather. So அங்கே மேலே போய் திடீர்னு அங்கே சத்தம் போட்டால் it will be bad. He was going through a phase in which he believed that General Meade's men, under steady hammering by Stonewall Jackson, were beginning to retreat and even desert. ஸோ அவரை திடீர்னு போய் டிஸ்டர்ப் பண்ணுறது ஏன் பேடாக இருக்கும்? why it will give bad result is because, see, listen this lines carefully. He was going through a phase. So here he refers to the grandfather. Okay, so he was going through a phase in which he believed that. So அவர் ஒரு ஞாபகத்திலே இருக்கு, அவர் ஒரு காலத்தில் இருக்கார். ஸோ அவர் என்ன பிலீவ் பண்ணுறாரு? வாட் he is believing is see, look at this. Do you know? George Meade was an army officer who served during the American Civil War. Stonewall Jackson was a Confederate general who fought against Meade. Okay, see, George Meade was an army officer. He was an army officer who served during the American Civil War. American Civil Warல இருந்த ஒரு army officer தான் யாரு? George Meade. Okay, so who is the Stonewall Jackson is? Stonewall Jackson was a general. Okay, who fought against Meade? அவர் ஒரு general who fought against George Meade. Okay, so what is this Confederate general? Confederate means a person who helps somebody, especially to do illegal things. Okay, so illegal things செய்யறதுக்காக யாருக்காவது ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுற ஒரு பர்சனை தான் கான்ஃபெடரேட்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ Stonewall Jackson was a Confederate general. So from this two names, George Meade and Stonewall Jackson, so who is a good person? George Meade is a good one, and Stonewall Jackson is somewhat bad because he is doing some illegal things. Okay, and he is against George Meade. Are you understand? Do you understand? So you have to understand this clearly. Now come back to the lesson. Okay, so he was going through, so he refers to the grandfather. He was going through a phase. அவர் ஒரு ஞாபகத்திலேயே ஒரு காலத்திலேயே இருக்கார் இன்னும். What is that? In which he believed. Who believed? Grandfather believed that General Meade's men under, so General Meade, who is General Meade? He is the army officer. General Meade's men. Men means, so all the soldiers who are working under General Meade. General Meade's men, under steady hammering by Stonewall Jackson, were beginning to retreat and even desert. Okay, so what happened is, the Stonewall Jackson is against General Meade. So the Stonewall Jackson, General Meade oda soldiers army, he is torturing too much. Who is torturing whom? Stonewall Jackson is always keeping on steady hammering. Steady hammering means constantly he is torturing General Meade's men. Okay, so this General Meade, he is an army officer, right? So அவர் அந்த ஆர்மியில் ஒர்க் பண்ணுற சோல்ஜர்ஸ் எல்லாம் they want to flee from the army. அந்த ஆர்மியிலேருந்து சீக்கிரம் ஓடி போயிடணும் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறாங்க. Why? Because they are facing a continuous torture from Stonewall Jackson. Okay, so were beginning to retreat and even desert. So அவங்கெல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா, யார்? ஜென்ரல் மீடோட ஆர்மியில் இருக்க சோல்ஜர்ஸ்லாம் என்ன பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா, வேர் பிகினிங் டு ரிட்ரீட். அவங்க என்ன பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க? திரும்ப போக ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டாங்க ஆர்மியிலேருந்து. அண்ட் ஈவன் டெசர்ட். ஸோ டெசர்ட் மீன்ஸ் ஹியர் இட் இஸ் நாட் டெசர்ட் ஏரியா கிடையாது. த மீனிங் இஸ் a person who leaves the armed forces, whatever armed force it is, without permission. Permission இல்லாமல் ஆர்மியிலேருந்து ஓடி வந்துடுவாங்க இல்லையா, ஓடி போயிடுவாங்க இல்லையா, they are called as deserters. Okay, so here it is not desert region. ஸோ ஆர்மியிலேருந்து எந்த பெர்மிஷனும் லீவ் அது மாதிரி எதுவுமே இன்ஃபார்ம் பண்ணாமல் ஓடிடுவாங்க இல்லையா, ஸோ தே ஆர் கால்ட் அஸ் டெசர்டர்ஸ். ஸோ ஜென்ரல் மீடோட ஆர்மியில் இருக்க சோல்ஜர்ஸ்லாம் திரும்ப ஓடி போயிட நினைக்கிறாங்க பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் த கண்டினியூஸ் டார்ச்சர் ஆஃப் ஸ்டோன்வால் ஜாக்சன். ஓகே, நவ் come to the next paragraph. When I got to the attic, things were pretty confused. Okay, so listen, here grandfather is thinking that, ஸோ அந்த ஜென்ரல் மீடோட ஆர்மியிலேருந்து சொல்லாமல் ஓடி வந்துடுறாங்க இல்லையா, ஸோ டெசர்டர்ஸ். ஓகே, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி டெசர்டர்ஸ், அந்த போலீஸை எல்லாம் அந்த மாதிரி டெசர்டர்ஸ்னு நினச்சிக்கிறாங்க. ஹூ இஸ் திங்கிங்? Grandpa is thinking all the police officers to be the deserters of General Meade's army. Do you understand? Okay, now when I got to the attic, things were pretty confused. So when the narrator is going to the attic, everything was in a great confusion. Grandfather had evidently jumped to the conclusion that the police were deserters from the Meade's army. So immediately by seeing the police officers, what the grandfather had decided is, he decided that the police officers were the deserters from the Meade's army. So Meade's armyலேருந்து தப்பிச்சு வந்தவங்களாம் தான் இந்த போலீஸ் ஆஃபீஸர்ஸ் அப்படின்னு நினச்சிக்கிறாரு. Who is thinking? Grandpa in the attic is thinking. Trying to hide away in his attic. So they are coming to hide. அங்கே மறைஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்காக ஒளிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்காக அங்கே வந்துட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு நினச்சிக்கிறாரு grandpa. He bounded out of bed wearing a long flannel nightgown over long woolen pants, a nightcap and a leather jacket around his chest. Okay, so he bounded out of bed. Bounded out of bed. Suddenly he is getting out of bed, and what he is wearing? He is wearing a long flannel nightgown. So flannel means it is a type of soft woolen cloth used for night wears. Okay, so it is a type of soft woolen cloth. So he is wearing a long flannel nightgown over long woolen pant, a nightcap and a leather jacket around his chest. Okay, so the cops must have realized at once that the indignant white-haired old man belonged to the house, but they had no chance to say so. Okay, the cops means police. The police must have realized by seeing the grandfather, they should have realized that the indignant means a person who is showing anger, who is exposing anger. Okay, so this white-haired old man. Who is the white-haired old man? Grandpa. So that person also belongs to the house. Avaru and the வீட்டை சேர்ந்தவர் தான். Okay. Back a cowardly dog roared grandfather. Okay, so what the grandfather is roared. So he's usually what will roar? Lion will roar. Why lion will roar? When it is in angriness or hungriness, it will roar. Okay, so here the grandfather is shouting very angrily, back a cowardly dog. Okay, so all of you go back the lines, a good damn lily-livered cattle. With that he fetched the officer who found the zidar a flat-handed smack alongside his head that sent him sprawling. See what happened is, back the lines, a good damn. It means back to the lines. All of you go back. Okay. Lily-livered cattle. So lily-livered cattle means all the okay, it means cattle means it will be in groups. So back a cowardly dog. So coward na foolish, mutal. So mutal dogs, foolish dogs. Whom he is addressing as foolish dogs is, he is addressing the police officers as the foolish dog. Why he is telling the police officers as the foolish dog means, because அவங்களாம் ஏன் முட்டாள்னு சொல்கிறாரு அப்படின்னா, அவங்களாம் யாருன்னு நினச்சிக்கிறாரு, ஆர்மியிலேருந்து சொல்லாமல் கொள்ளாமல் ஓடி வந்த பர்சன்ஸ்ன்னு நினச்சிக்கிறாரு, டெசர்டர்ஸ்ன்னு நினச்சிக்கிறாரு. ஓகே, ஸோ சொல்லாமல் ஓடி வந்துட்டாங்கனாலே என்ன, வாட் இஸ் த மீனிங், அவங்களுக்கு சொல்லிட்டு வர அளவுக்கு ஆர் ஃபைட்டை ஃபேஸ் பண்ணுற அளவுக்கு கரேஜ் இல்லை. கரேஜ் ஒருத்தர்கிட்ட இல்லைன்னா அவங்கள என்ன சொல்லுவோம், we will call them as fool. That's why he is telling them as foolish dog, because his grandfather is misunderstanding the police officers as deserters who escaped from the army. Okay, back the lines, a good damn lily livered cattle. Cattle means group of animals. Okay, so ஒரு அந்த கேட்டல் மாதிரி கூட்டமாக எல்லாரும் தப்பிச்சு ஓடி வந்துட்டாங்கன்னு நினச்சிட்டு he is telling all of you go back. With that he fetched the officer who found the zidar. Okay, so சொல்லிட்டு என்ன பண்ணுறாருன்னா he fetched the officer, he is catching the officer or holding the officer. Fetched has one more meaning. Fetch means bring. Fetch a bucket of water, it means bring a bucket of water. Okay, so here what is the meaning of fetched is, okay, he's catching an officer, he's holding an officer who found the zidar. So who found the zidar, what is his name, the police named Joe had found the zidar. Okay, so and the police officer, he is fetching a flat-handed smack along his head that sent him sprawling. A flat-handed smack அப்படின்னா என்ன சொல்கிறது, hitting someone with the inside of the hand. இப்படி கையை இப்படி ஓப்பனாக வச்சுட்டு இப்படி நெத்தியில் அடிப்போம் இல்லையா, that is called as flat-handed smack alongside his head that sent him sprawling. Sprawling means என்ன சொல்கிறது, அப்படியே கை கால்லாம் விரிஞ்சிட்டு போய் அப்படியே விழுந்துருவாங்க இல்லையா, that is called as sprawling. So the others beat a retreat, but not enough. Grandfather grabbed Zidar's gun from its holster and let fly. So grandfather, by seeing the behavior of the grandfather, the others beat a retreat. So what the other officers are doing is they are going back, but not enough. Grandfather grabbed Zidar's gun from its holster. So listen, grabbed means taking something very fastly, அவசரமாக பிடிச்சி இழுக்கிறது, that is called as grabbed. Okay, grasping, we can say grasping also. Okay, so a grandfather grasped Zidar's gun. Zidar's gun அப்படின்னா ஜிதரோட gun. Zidar is not a person, it is a musical instrument here. அப்போ யாரோட கன்னை எடுத்தாரு, can you guess? Zidar's gun அப்படின்னா இப்போது Kumar's gun, it means குமாரோட கன்னு. Okay, but here zither means it is a musical instrument. So musical instrument ஒரு gun வச்சிருக்குமா? No. It means what is the meaning? The person who had found the zither. So who is the person who found the zither? The police named Joe. So he is grasping the gun of the police officer named Joe. So Joeவோட கன்னை எடுத்துக்கிறாரு from its holster. So holster means that pouch. The police officers will keep the gun in a pouch இல்லையா, ஒரு ஹோல்டர் மாதிரி வச்சுருப்பாங்க இல்லையா, so they will be keeping their gun inside. So from its holster and let fly. The report seemed to crack the rafters. So he is beginning to shoot. Who is beginning to shoot? By taking that gun, grandfather is beginning to shoot. The report, so what is the report, what happened after taking the gun is, that is what is the report after taking the gun is, seemed to crack the rafters. Okay, rafters means it is long pieces of wood which supports the attic. So on the attic support பண்ற long pieces of woods are called as rafters. The report seemed to crack the rafters. Smoke filled the attic. Okay, because of the shooting, what happened? The rafters, that is the pieces of wood begin to break and there is smoke everywhere filled in the attic. A cop cursed and shot his hand to his shoulder. Okay, so a police is cursing. Cursing means என்ன சொல்கிறது, scolding. Okay, and shot his hand to his shoulder. Why the police is scolding is because the grandfather is shooting the police in his shoulder. Somehow we all finally got downstairs again and locked the door against the old gentleman. So anyhow all the polices came down and they had locked the grandfather inside the attic itself. He fired once or twice more in the darkness and then went back to bed. So again he is firing with the gun, he is firing once or twice, and after firing what he thought everyone had gone back, and then grandfather is also going back to bed. That was grandfather, I explained to Joe out of breath. So who is telling? That was grandfather. The narrator is telling grandfather இப்படிதான். So that's why I thought of stopping you before going to the attic. அதனால தான் நீங்கள் அட்டிக் போகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடியே உங்களை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சேன். But suddenly everyone of you had climbed to the grandfather too. He thinks you are a deserter. Okay, why he is behaving like this? Here he refers to the grandfather. So why grandpa is behaving like this is because he thinks you are all deserter. He is thinking that you are all the person who escaped from the General Meade's army. That's why he is behaving like this. I will say he does, said Joe. So that's why he is behaving like this, said Joe. So who is Joe? Joe is the police officer who had found the zither. So let me stop with this. So we have come across many new words here, I think so. See, for example, hysterical, creaking, snapped, deserters, hammering, flannel, bounded, evidently, pretty, indignant, smack, sprawling, retreat, holster, grabbed, rafters, cursed, etc. I hope. Okay, so go through all this. Thank you for watching. Let us meet in the next class.